So, my game development journey to go from 0 hours to just over 300 hours of developing a game with AI to get a demo out taught me a lot about progress. More so, meaning that a few lessons I learned. The first thing is that there was so much that I just couldn't plan out. And I think a lot of the time when people approach certain topics, when people approach certain things they're working towards, we tend to overplan. We tend to overplan. We try to predict things that a lot of the time you simply just can't predict. And I just threw myself at this, right? And this isn't something that's necessarily common in my opinion, but I simply just had the idea of, well, if I can make a video game with AI doing all the code and all the images and the video, I just need to put it together, work with it, then can I make it work? And I could have sat there for ages mapping out everything, but instead I just decided to throw myself at it. I didn't know how to use Unity and navigate that stuff, and I had to get AI to help me with that. I didn't know where to even start, but I simply described what I wanted, where I like effectively what I wanted to make, and within the first 20 to 30 hours of game development, I was able to make a very ugly looking but functioning combat scene. And that's where it all started because I was able to actually get something, and then from there I could work on there. Now, for reference, with my sort of game development journey, I changed the art style of the game at least 3 or 4 times, and and like before or at least after I'd released the first sort of section of the demo, I went and deleted at least 35 scripts of code to clean things up because I had so many patch up scripts and so many things that were causing issues at the time. And the point being is, yeah, right? Like I couldn't predict that. I couldn't set myself up for that. I didn't know why things were difficult. I couldn't predict it. And like I'll speak to some people about, certain projects and certain things they're working towards. And maybe sometimes it's the excuse of they don't have enough time or they don't really know where to start. And a lot of the times it really is just trying to set yourself down to go and do that said thing. It doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be done. Because do it enough times and you're going to get a better idea as to just, what you should be doing. Because now when I sit down to do game development, I feel a lot more confident with what it is that I'm actually trying to do. Yes, I have something like a Trello board to actually organize a few things, right? And to help me understand where it is I'm trying to go. But I'm not going to over plan. I'm not going to try and go out of my way because one thing that I have used or sort of struggled with in the past is that procrastination. It's the whole I want to start, but I can't seem to start. And it's always that uncomfortable feeling. It's that always uncomfortable feeling where I used to have where I knew that the thing that I needed to do, I had the time for it was right there. But that feeling of, well, I could do it or I could do this other thing. And with always that comparative behavior that really caught me off guard and really caused issues for me. So the point of this video is more so about to say that look, if you're working toward or trying to work towards something meaningful, it's more so about just being able to give it consistent and enough time. And also just starting on the small actionable bits you can start. What I'd really recommend is create your own ikigai. It's a Japanese concept, I believe, but it's more so about what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for. And I've made, I think, maybe 3 of these in my lifetime. But the point being is I usually look to make one of these when I need a bit of a shift or a realignment as to what it is that I'm actually interested in. Because there's so much that people tell you you should do, right? New trends that pop up, new business models that sort of creep in. And, it sometimes it can make you feel, oh, well, maybe I need to hop on this. Maybe I need to actually, try a bit of this. And at the end of the day, first of all, if you have no real interest in the thing, you're going to find it very difficult to get anywhere. Because honestly, if I didn't have any interest in video games, I would really struggle to do my game development, just like how I really struggled to do my business, that I basically closed down because that was all around lead generation. And frankly, I couldn't really care less about that. But that's the whole point. It's about being able to, well, for me, it would be ideally make your own ikigai, right? Try and answer all of those questions and fill in all those boxes. Then, second thing is once you've found that, try and just figure out how you can start a creative project. Actually put action towards it, whether it's something on, YouTube or whether it's, building something, it doesn't matter. But I think where people can use creativity, I think that's where, you can really get into that flow state. You can really let those ideas go. And that flow state is really nice. And I know for me, I can get into it really consistently because it is something that I actually enjoy doing. But that's really the idea of the video. I think really the main thing for most people is simply trying not to overplan and just trying to focus on one thing. Because my game development journey, for example, has been so all over the place. But what has mattered is that I've tracked, my progress. I've tracked the time I've been putting in, but I've also been trying to figure out what's working and what's not so that I can set myself up better in the future.